Morning, Mavs. I thought it might be fun to kind of revisit some of the stuff that we've been working on in case you wanted to do some drawing. This one is going to be for the fourth graders. Fourth graders, you'll remember we were talking about space before we left for spring break. And we were talking about different ways to create that idea of space inside of our artwork, whether it be overlapping, making things farther back in space. Remember we talked about that word horizon line. But one of the really fun drawings that we did that I know a lot of y'all really enjoyed was doing a perspective drawing. So we're going to do just a quick little refresher on that. And this is something that you can draw again. You can teach your brothers and sisters or your parents while you're at home, and you can practice on. Some people started getting fancy and doing letters, doing their name in perspective. So we're just going to do a little refresher on how that works. Okay. You will remember on your piece of paper, all you really need to start with is a dot. Okay? And anybody remember what that dot is called? It's called the vanishing point. This is where everything is going to disappear. That's what vanish means. It's kind of like the horizon line when we're drawing a landscape. Everything goes away when it gets to the horizon line. That's as far away as we can see. Now, when we are drawing a shape that is going to be going back into the vanishing point, we need to draw that shape kind of far away. So let's start with a shape over here. I'm going to start with a square. Okay, so there's my square. Now, we're going to try and make this square feel like it is shooting out of this vanishing point all the way out to here. Now, I know when we were at school, we were using rulers. I don't have a ruler at my house. You might not have a ruler at your house. All you really need is a straight edge. So I'm going to use my kid's video game cover because it has a straight edge. You could use a book. You could use a cereal box. You could use an envelope from the mail, any of those things. We're going to use it the same way we used our ruler, okay? I'm going to put my pencil on the corner of this square and lean it up against the edge of this box. And then I'm going to line that box up with my vanishing point so that when I drag, it ends at the vanishing point. Okay, I'm going to do that for every corner. Here's another one. Okay, I'm going to line up the box
Mom?
with, hi guys. Jonah, go keep building.
We know the story now.
Okay, Jonah, Mom's doing a video right now. Can you go back from work? Go back and work, please. Okay, so we connected this bottom corner to the vanishing point. And now we're going to connect this last corner. This is going to be the tricky one. We're going to connect this last corner to the vanishing point. Okay, when we do that, we have shown this edge right here. There's the face for that edge. And here is the face for this bottom edge right here. We don't need to draw a face for this top edge because we can't see it. And we don't need to draw a face for this side edge because we can't see it from the angle that we're looking at. Remember, we also talked about if you're going to repeat it where it makes it look like it's a stack, you have to make your lines parallel to this first line. I'm getting a little wonky right there. Okay, you make your lines parallel as you go down. You guys remember this. Okay, same thing with this one. This one's tricky also. You got to make those lines parallel. That's going to make it feel like you've got a stack of squares that are going all the way down until they're so far away we can't see them. Okay, same thing happens if we're doing any other kinds of shapes. If we're doing something like a triangle, we might be able to see some parts, but we wouldn't be able to see all the faces. The tricky part we've got to figure out is which faces can I see and which faces are hidden from me. I know that this side, I'm not going to be able to see that face because that face is behind the triangle. So I'm going to start with this corner right here. I'm going to line up my edges, the corner of my triangle and the vanishing point, and connect. Now, just from that, I can tell that I should be able to see this side and I should be able to see this side. So I'm going to line those up also, corner to corner, connect. This corner also, connect. Those are the faces that I can see. Okay, again, I'm going to do my parallel lines. to make it look like there is a stack of triangles on top of each other. Sorry guys, my kids are doing a Lego challenge right now and they're all yelling at each other. Okay, so you can see that this one is shooting back into space also. Now, one of the tricky ones that we talked about was doing something that has a curve. If you do something that has a curve, like a circle, circles obviously don't have corners. And so I can't connect a corner to this vanishing point. I have to connect the edge. So I'm gonna line up my vanishing point with the edge of my circle. Where I see that it can touch the edge, that's where it needs to connect. Same thing on this side. It's going to connect to the edge of my circle. Okay, and remember, we've got to copy this line. It's got to be parallel. This one is not a straight parallel line. This one is a curve that has to repeat. I've got to try and repeat that curve the same way over and over. That's going to make it feel like, I think we said it looks like one of those Smarties containers that you get like at Halloween. Okay, that little roll of curved candies. That's what it looks like they're stacked up on top of each other. So you can see I'm starting to create this illusion that things are going back into space when I'm drawing that. Remember, we did talk about some of those shapes are really difficult to do this with. I know you guys are all excited about drawing stars and hearts and things like that. Those get a little bit tricky because they have multiple points that need to go to this vanishing point. This point needs to go there. 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 That's probably all for this one. Let's see if I can connect that one and make it work. Okay, because remember, I've got to think about what edges am I going to see and what edges am I not going to see. That's where we get a little bit tricky. And this edge is actually going to pass behind another edge. Okay, that's where we start getting a little bit more difficult. Little bit more challenging as we go through this one. But looks really awesome once you figure it out. If you guys practice this and you get the hang of it and you get good at it, I really encourage you to try doing your name because that one looks really awesome if you can do your name in a shape. Okay, remember we also talked about once you finish doing this and you're ready to do some color, you want to make sure that you're just outlining if you're using a marker. Because the problem is if you start coloring with your marker, you're going to cover up all of those lines and all of a sudden it's not going to look three-dimensional anymore. It's going to go back to looking flat. We don't want it to go back to looking flat. Okay, that looks just like a flat shape now. Whereas if I traced it, maybe colored the top shape with my marker, okay, but I added some dimension by drawing this. You'll remember one of the things that we looked at when we did our boot camp day was we talked about how if you change the value going from near to far, that's going to make it feel like it's going back in space also. So I could come back in here with my crayons and I could go from dark to light as I move back towards the vanishing point, and that's going to make it look more three-dimensional. I'm going to post some pictures in the comments that you guys actually did when we did this together in class so you can see what some other students came up with for their final piece. But I hope you will practice drawing some perspective drawings. Kindergartners, first graders, second graders, third graders. I know this is really hard. I'm going to be making some more videos of some things for you. Second grade, be looking out. I'm going to try and get one to you today also to remind you about what we were talking about with space, about landscapes and horizon lines. First graders, you've had that discussion also. So look for that one later today. Bye, Mavs.